There is an ancient saying about abundance, and it goes like this: from abundance he took abundance, and abundance remained. If you are living in scarcity, with the bills piling up, this may sound like a fairy tale, but I assure you it is possible. I was as skeptical as anyone in the beginning, but eventually I saw the light. Let us examine your natural abundance together and see if I can change your mind, or at least add to your options. Our universe, your universe. The following quote is attributed to Einstein and is part of a larger article he wrote on the nature of our universe. The most important decision we make is whether we believe we live in a friendly or hostile universe. If I might take a little liberty with his quote and reword it for our purposes. Here I might say, the most important decision we can make about our world is whether we believe we live in an abundant universe or a universe full of scarcity. You may have noticed my statement contains a bit of a contradiction. How can a universe without abundance be full of scarcity? Did I say fullness and scarcity in the same sentence? Common sense tells us they don't exist together. Emptiness goes with scarcity, and our senses agree. Who can see the end of the universe? How can we count the drops of water in the oceans? What are the heights that mankind can attain? No one knows the answer to these questions. These and many other things are too great for us to know. I would even say they are too abundant to count or measure. We live in an abundant universe, but many people live only in a small corner of it. There is no scarcity in the universe, only scarcity in our thinking, and scarcity thinking creates scarcity in our personal wealth. Change your thinking, and that changes your actions, and those new actions change your results. Where are you mining? So you might be having a bit of financial trouble these days. It happens at times to all of us. Perhaps you are doing pretty well, but you want to do better. In either case, my question is, where are you mining? Where are you digging for financial wealth? You might think of your cash flow as being like rich ore moving along on the conveyor of a mine as it head to the marketplace. When the ore is flowing out of the mine, you know the miners are mining in a place where there is an abundance of ore. When the ore stops flowing, you know they are mining in a place where ore is scarce, even non-existent. If your cash flow is scarce, then you are mining in an area of scarcity in your life. If you want to increase your cash flow and income, you have to move your mining equipment and your efforts to a place of abundance. Abundance in the marketplace. One of my businesses is a vending business. When I started, it didn't take me long to learn. Without people, you don't have much of a vending business. If you want to reap financial wealth through vending, you had better be mining where there are hungry people with a few coins in their pockets. After I had placed all of the vending machines I had bought to start my business, the next step I took was to start moving the underperforming ones to better locations. When I looked for new locations, the first thing I looked for was hungry people, lots of hungry people. Just moving a few vending machines to better locations with more hungry people nearly doubled my income with the same number of machines. I was mining in a richer area, and it made me richer. When we are vacationing in the Smoky Mountains, there is a fast food restaurant just beside an attraction my wife and I go to when we are in the area. It is a big attraction, and it is always full of people, with people standing in line to get in. Guess what else is always full, with people standing in line? It is that fast food restaurant nearby. I seriously doubt they do any advertising. I have seen lines of people standing outside the building waiting to get in and spend their money while it was pouring the rain. The attraction does the advertising, and the restaurant just opened where the mining was good. It was excellent, in fact. There is no guarantee that if you build it, they will come. However, if they are already coming, it is a good place to build. If you want to reap abundantly, then match your skills or products with the marketplace. Look for people that are hungry for what you have or do, and look for lots of them. All things considered, one hungry client is good, but two are better, and if people are standing in line to get in, you are seeing abundance in action. We all have areas of abundance and scarcity. Baseball fans know that Babe Ruth was one of the greats in baseball, but how do you think he would do in a double Dutch jump rope competition? I would imagine he would do poorly. Why would Babe Ruth be such a great baseball player and such a poor double Dutch jump rope competitor? Because when he was playing baseball he would be mining from his abundance, but competing with a jump rope would most likely be an area of scarcity for him, and his results would reflect that. I doubt Babe was any good at needlepoint either, but he didn't have to be. Babe could buy or hire anything wanted because he was good at playing baseball and good at mining his abundance. You may not realize it, but in this respect you are just like Babe Ruth. You have areas of scarcity and areas of abundance. You might be thinking you were never good at sports. That might be true, but after decades of working with people I am convinced there is something you are good at doing, or something you could be good at doing if you had a chance. The chances are excellent that there is something you could excel at doing. If you don't know what that thing is, then put on your walking shoes and start hunting. Finding your abundance. My oldest son hates math. I now realize it is because of a certain teacher he had in grade school, but it is a little late to do anything about it now. From the 5th grade on, his math grade was always the worst on his report card. On the other hand, he loved to read. He did well in his English classes and loved classic literature. Here is a funny thing about that. He was poor in math, but he could tell you the year Mary Shelley published her novel Frankenstein 1818, how many copies were printed for the first edition, don't ask me, the year of the second edition 1823, and the year it was revised and reprinted 1831. What is strange about that? All of that information has to do with numbers. You know, numbers as in math. My son couldn't remember the first digit of the number 4 pi, or for that matter how many pies were on the kitchen table, but he could remember any number when it pertained to something that interested him. It may sound strange, but he isn't any different than the rest of us on that. If we are interested, we are engaged, and that includes engaging your mental faculties. Your talents will be found where your interests are. My youngest daughter really struggled in school. It wasn't because she wasn't talented, it was because she wasn't interested. If she had struggled as hard to do the schoolwork as she did to get out of doing the schoolwork, she would have broken academic records. Yes, her mother and I became the homework police, and it seemed she was always in homework jail. Years later, she went back to school in the medical field, where she was in competition with this other young lady in the class for top honors. On one test, this other young lady would make the highest grade in the class, and then on the next test, my daughter would get the highest score. How could that be? Was this the same girl that had her report card from her parents every grading period? I looked her over and decided this really was my daughter, but now she was mining in an area of her abundance instead of an area of scarcity for her. What made the difference? She was interested in her medical training and had a desire to do well. Her interest had created her abundance. This girl that couldn't spell whale in school could now spell the names of bones I didn't know we had, and tell you how they are connected. Make a list of things you like to do, things you enjoy, things that interest you. Take a few days and make a pretty complete list. Now put some thought into how you could incorporate a few of those things into something people will pay for. Maybe there is a way that already exists. To do this, maybe you will have to create your own way to do it, and if that is the case, imagine that too. Do this several times, with several combinations of your interests and likes. One combination will soon stand out as a way to serve a number of people for an abundant amount of money. If you need money training, schooling, or certification to do it, then go out and get it. I am saying if you have the interest, then you have abundance. It is only a matter of working out the details. The deciding vote. You decide if there is abundance or scarcity in your life. You cast the deciding vote. I can understand if you doubt it, but I assure you that statement is true. In 2006 I met a poor young man that would not take no for an answer, and I returned 5 years later to see him prospering in one of the poorest countries in Africa. What was different about this man that gave him abundance in a land where so many have so little? Certainly not his circumstances. His father died while he was young. He had no formal education. He supported his mother and sister, and the first time I saw him he had only the clothes on his back. 5 years later, he had a chain of small stores, a house better than most, and a car to drive. The reason? The man cast his vote for himself, believing that abundance for him was possible, and equipped with that knowledge, he went to work finding a good place to mine. For goodness sake, when it is time for you to vote, vote for you and your success. The law of attraction. You hear a lot about attracting wealth. I agree that you can attract wealth, but I find it is a bit different than commonly advertised. You don't just sit on your couch and think about wealth. Do that long enough and they will come and get your couch. We don't attract what we want, we attract what we are. If your nature is a begrudging one, and you are convinced that you are doomed to a life of scarcity, guess what you will attract? You will attract only more scarcity, with a side helping of doom and gloom. Think about it, given a choice, would you promote a person like that? Who would you want to work with or spend your money with? The person that is cheerful and thinks abundantly, or the person that thinks there isn't enough to go around, spreads doom and gloom, and barks at anyone that suggests the sun might shine? The cheerful and positive person wins in that contest every time. Think abundantly, act abundantly, serve with abundance, and you will soon find more abundance. Since you attract what you are, you will literally attract it. Live abundance and you will attract abundance. Show a little persistence, since it takes the mail a little while to deliver, but it is on the way. Here is a verse from the good book on attraction. Luke 6:38 KJV. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, and shaken together, and running over shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure that ye meet withal, it shall be measured to you again. What to do to find abundance? My father would sometimes come home with these delicious wild mushrooms. Where did he get them? He found them in the woods. How did he find them? He looked for them. He found a lot more of them when he looked for them than when he didn't look for them. I find that works with everything. Look for your abundance. Start with your interests and your hobbies. Maybe you like people. That could be worth 6 figures in income or even more as a salesperson. You could make a very good living minding your desire to help people by helping them find the exact thing they are looking for through sales. It could be worth the same in the medical field, helping people recover from illnesses. People pay for people to help them. That alone is enough for me to like people. Have you ever heard of someone that had $1 million smile? For a movie star or a politician, that smile could be worth $1 million, even millions of dollars, but if they never mind it and stay behind closed doors, that rich or will never get to market. Where are you hiding your fortune? What $1 million interest or talent do you have that you are hiding away while you scrape by financially? Happiness pays. Surveys indicate that about 70% of Americans don't like their jobs. The number is similar in other modern countries. How much abundance do you think these people will find in a job they don't like? I wondered about that and found other surveys that indicate the people that are the happiest in their jobs are some of the highest paid people in the workforce. I know there are people that enjoy their volunteer work or their low-paying job where they can serve others, and that is great. I am just saying that if you are looking for money, we know that financial rewards and long-term success goes along with happiness. What to do next? So if you are looking for abundance, what do you do next? Start literally living abundance, and you will attract abundance. Be abundantly happy to help people, and some of them will be happy to help you find abundance. Not all, but enough. Believe in an abundant universe where there is plenty for you, and you will see that is true. When it comes time to vote, then vote for you by believing you can do whatever task is in front of you. Most of all, look for your abundance in your interests and the things you enjoy. If you do these things, I know I will soon be hearing your story of abundance.